Hi, very good afternoon and welcome to yet another series of Get More from Mallapuram. And this is the webinar series wherein we intend to provide clarity such that people will have confidence on whatever the policies which they have already purchased or even planning to purchase. So this is the very purpose of actually conducting this webinar. And let me just share you the presentation. Right. I hope you are all able to look through the screen over here, right? Okay, so here the very purpose is actually we want to provide the clarity on what are the policies which you have purchased such that you will have confidence on whatever the policies which you are planning to purchase. Okay, this is the very purpose of actually doing this webinar series. And even before we get into this webinar, let us actually do an declarations before we even get into it. Okay, so the first thing is, here we do not represent any one insurance company. We don't intend to do that. Okay, that gives you a very clear clarity, because neither we want to promote any product nor a particular person or not a particular company in this particular webinar series. Okay, and whatever the policies, whatever the details that we'll be discussing under this webinar is absolutely going to be only on insurance. So no politics, and there is no movies, nothing. It's all only about insurance, right? And at the same time, we are not intended to criticize either a person or an organization or a policy or a product of a particular organization. We don't intend to do that, but if at all, if it happens, it is only by chance, but we really don't intend to do it. Okay, and at the same time, the opinions which are all discussed here are purely going to be personal, and it can't be taken as evidence under any court of law. I hope this is very clear to everyone. With these declarations, we currently now we just enter into today's topic, and the topic of the day is my company. My company actually takes care of my health insurance. This is what most of the employees who have joined the large organizations or even a small and medium segment companies, which are actually providing their health insurance program for the benefit of the people, they actually think about it. Okay, but it is actually a myth. It is a good thing from the corporate side because there's a benefit what they're extending it to the employees. But if you look from the point of view of employee, it is actually going to be a myth. I know, it's actually a tough thing to digest, right? But that is a fact. And the fact is, it is a myth. Let us have a little more detail about this during the entire webinar series. Okay, so the agenda is going to be, we are going to discuss a little brief on the situation analysis. That's the first thing, right? Then the second main section wherein we are going to have the clarity for confidence as the major situation on which we'll be discussing. This is the second section where we'll be taking the point by point discussion on it, and then we are going to review the entire discussion whatever we had, and we are going to have an action points on which each of us we are going to take the steps one by one on what exactly and how exactly we are going to do it. Okay, I hope this actually gives you a lot of clarity on the way how it is going to be. Is it right? Okay, if it is yes, I request everyone to type in yes in the chat box. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for all the people who are actually participating and being so cooperative in actually putting up your comments in the chat box. Thanks a lot. Okay, right. So with this, we'll also get to the next thing. So the situation analysis. In the situation analysis, if you look at, okay, the first day the person joins an organization, how does he feel? He feels so good. So nice. And on the first day, you'll also have the entire organization philosophy, the culture. So the HR team will actually help you to know about the company, right? And especially they'll also help you to know about the employee benefits which the organization is providing you. And how you feel? How you feel if the organization HR people, they say now you have the health insurance coverage also covering both yourself, your spouse, children, and the parent under the policy from the company. How you feel? Type it in the chat box. You feel good, right? We all feel good, and we all feel happy about it, isn't it? But what next? We feel good because the company is giving you all the benefits, and that's the way how they're going to attract the best resources and keep it with them, right? Isn't it? But what next? Okay, that's the situation wherein we'll have the clarity, the discussion on clarity for confidence, okay, wherein the real discussion begins. How much of cover does your company provide? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever asked the HR team about it? Have you ever asked? How much of cover do you have? You know, the study says most of the organizations which are actually giving these medical insurance benefits for the employees along with the dependents, you know how much they are providing? They're providing up to 3 lakh rupees. This is the average sum assured which has been given. Now, do you think this 3 lakh rupees is going to be sufficient enough for a family of 6 people, husband, wife, 2 children, and 2 parents? Do you think this is sufficient enough? Think about it. Now, if you look into the current situation wherein there is a huge amount of cost which is actually happening, right? Okay, wherein the people are unable to actually pay the medical cost. How much do you think? How much do you think a particular family should have a coverage in place? How much do you think? Let's discuss. 3 lakh, 5 lakh, 10 lakh. How much do you think? Just type it in the chat box. Just type it. How much do you think? 3 lakh, 5 lakh, 10 lakh? Okay. Per person, how much do you think? 5 lakhs, right? Yeah, I'm actually say thank you. Thanks a lot for actually typing it in the chat box. So 5 lakhs is something which is really mandatory for every person in this pandemic situation. Now, do you think the coverage which has been provided by the company, which is of only 3 lakh rupees, is going to help you and your family in case of any emergency? And moreover, if things are happening, especially in this pandemic situation, it is not just one person, it is almost whole family is actually getting infected. Do you think this 3 lakhs is good enough? Right? Think about it. So if your company is providing you 3 lakhs, now it is your responsibility to take care of additional coverage. How well are you planned to take care of medical emergencies beyond what your company actually can provide you? I hope you are getting the point. Okay, let's look into this next thing. Okay, so who are all covered under your policy? Have you ever checked that? Have you ever checked that? Pull out the details from your HR or your HR portal and then go through those details. Most of the companies which are offering these medical insurance benefits, they are covering only employees. And even if it is extended maximum up to spouse and children. The parents are not covered in most of the organizations. If it is covered under your policy, probably you are actually being with one of the best corporate with which you are working with. Okay. Now, parents, even if it is covered, the premium for which the company is incurring to pay for the parents is being put it back onto the accounts of employees. So the employees need to pay those expenses. So you pay the expenses, you get the coverage, but tomorrow if you leave the organization, all this experience, all this premium is gone. Okay, it is like you are staying in the quarter which is given by your company, and you can leave in that quarter only until you are an employee. The moment you are out of the employment, the company will say, now you have to go out of my employee quarters. Right? So you need to have your own house, even as an additional thing, if at all you have to move out of the quarters which have been given by your company. I hope you're getting this. Okay. So how much is the coverage? Who are all the people who are covered makes a huge amount of difference. And especially if it is not covering your parents, that leaves you even more responsibility, because your parents need health insurance. They need more medical facilities when compared to our age. Right? Parents require they have, obviously, that's a known fact. Okay, so how long a particular person is going to stay with the same organization? Okay, how many of you think how long can you stay with the organization with which you are working currently? 5 years, right? 10 years? Somebody might even think I'll retire in the same company. Gone the days. Gone the days. Okay, if somebody is thinking like that, probably he's thinking good. But how long can you continue in the same organization, working with the same company? That's you say that it is my company. 5 years, 10 years, 10 to 20, till the retirement, choose your option. Let me give you some more facts. The facts are the Parliamentary Panel on Labour on 11th August 2020 has given a report stating that, a recommendation stating that the gratuity, the timeline to pay the gratuity, okay, which is at 5 years under the Gratuity Act, they have recommended to get it reduced to only 1 year. Because most of the organizations, the employees are not staying beyond 5 years. So this is how the dynamics have changed. So don't even think that you might be with the same organization for your lifetime, but even on the day of retirement, you have to come out of this organization. When you come out at that point in time, when you are in the age of retirement, probably there might be some medical issues which would have turned up. But if you're coming out of the organization, the medical facility is gone. The coverage is gone. So you need to have your own policy, just like your own home. Got it? Okay. So average duration of an employee is actually getting reduced. And every company you join in after that, when you just go back, you go and join another company. So every time you join, it's a fresh experience. And there is no portability, or you can't even migrate your experience to the next insurance policy. So we suggest that you need to have your personal policy in place along with your corporate policy. Thank God your company is actually giving you. They want to provide you the best, but how much of coverage and whom all are they covering on their own? And what is that extra premium that you have to pay from your pocket? You have to think all these things. Okay. And how long? Now this is another question. How long your company can still provide all those facilities, all that insurance, health insurance premium? How much do you think? How long do you think your company can provide? Can you just type it in the chat box? Can your company can still continue providing you all those benefits for the time that you stay with the organization? Can they really do that? Can they afford providing you the same facility? We have seen in our experience, wherein many of the corporates who come to us for the advisory, we have actually seen literally day by day the cost of premium is actually increasing further. The more it is increasing, the more it is becoming a burden for all the corporates to take care of the medical facilities for their employees. They can't even pull down it completely, right? They can't take it off completely. So what they do, they actually say, no, this is the budget. Okay, and we can't pay you more than this, even though there are some claims which have come up, but this is the budget. So what happens? The benefits under the policy will be tweaked and the coverages will be reduced a little bit. There might be some pruning which is happening on different benefits under the same plan. So your existing plan and your renewed plan is not the same at all. How do you know? When will you know these details? When there's a claim and some of your family member got admitted into the hospital, that's when you'll get to know, oh my God, it's not just the coverage what I have, but now the new policy, I may have to also shell out some money even from my pocket. Okay, these things you'll be knowing only when there's a claim. Right. Okay. So let's dive a little more into the situation and then understand it much better. Okay. So there is a situation wherein the company might not be in a position to give you the same facility, right? Because the renewal premium always depends on the claims ratio. The more the claims, the more it is going to be, and the more the premium is going to be, the budget is going to be a larger one. Sometimes there was one HR manager who was sharing the average employee hike in the salary is actually less than the hike in the insurance premium, health insurance premium, because of the claims. Okay, so these things also do come up. Okay, but if you actually look into the coverages also, so the conditions of coverages will be tweaked to match with the budget. And once it is tweaked, there might be something like a room rent restriction which has actually come up. A room rent restriction will always have a prorate deductions under the total bill. The entire bill which need to be paid by the insurance company, there will be some deductions. Probably you can actually go to my 10 things you should know about your health insurance policy. That's one of the webinar which we have done. You can actually go through that webinar wherein we have discussed this particular point, the room rent restrictions in detail. In detail, we have actually discussed. Okay, so you can actually go through that. But here, if you look into the room rent, there might be some tweaking. Probably the existing policy, there is no room rent restriction. Now the new policy which has been renewed, there might be some restriction like 5,000 rupees is the room rent limit. Now, if the person joined an hospital wherein it is 6,000 rupees room rent. So what we think, it is only 1,000 rupees extra on the entire hospital on per day basis, probably 4 or 5 days. So we'll pay that 5,000 rupees and we'll get off. That's okay. But it is 1,000 rupees on 5,000. That means it is 20%. So if the entire bill is 1 lakh rupee, 20% of 1 lakh, that is 20,000 will be deducted by the insurance company because you stayed in a room which is actually more than your eligibility. So these restrictions will come in. And something like co-payment is also being introduced into the policy. What it means, co-payment? Along with the insurance company, you also own the risk and you also pay to the hospital. That is called as co-payment. Say there is an hospitalization bill of say 3 lakh rupees, and there's a co-payment of say 20%. So 20% co-payment on 3 lakhs. If it's about 3 lakhs, out of 3 lakhs, say some 25,000 is a non-payable item. So the eligible amount that can be paid by the insurance company becomes say 2,75,000, and on that there is a 20% co-payment. Now, because the bill is 3 lakh rupees, 20% on 3 lakhs is how much? 60,000 rupees. So 60,000 rupees is again deducted in the bill. So even if the entire bill is 3 lakh rupees, the insurance company will be able to provide you only 2,15,000 rupees as the your payable amount from the insurance company, and remaining amount you have to pay to the hospital. So these conditions will come in because they need to adjust the premium such that it will match with the budgetary requirements of your organization during the renewal. So this is how the management of the benefits will happen to take care of the budget. Okay, and disease-based capping, this is another one. So for cataract, we'll give you only 20,000 rupees, or for heart ailment, we'll give you only 50,000 rupees, or for the knee replacement surgery, we'll give you only say 40,000 rupees. Though there might be coverage of say 5 lakh rupees, but there is a restriction which is inbuilt, and a restriction for parents is going to be like this. A restriction for dependents is going to be like this. But for employees, there is no this disease-wise capping. So it can be changed. It can be tailor-made according to the requirements on the renewal, according to the budget of the organization. So that's the reason we say, how long can your company sustain? Because renewal premium is always something which keeps on increasing. Okay, and my company health insurance provides better coverage. Good. Your company provides you a better coverage when compared to the individual policy that you have to purchase from the market. What are the better coverages? Okay, the better coverages are the waiting periods are going to be removed, right? Maternity benefit is also given. The pre-existing disease might also be covered from day one. So these are the benefits, right? But if, say, suppose you move out of the organization, do you have this coverage? No. Do you have at least this coverage on your individual plan if you purchase it then and there? No, because there is going to be a 30-day waiting period. There is going to be 2 years exclusion. There is going to be pre-existing cover will be there after 4 years, or in few policies it is after 2 years or 3 years. And in few companies, you pay additional premium and get it reduced to 1 year. All these benefits will be there. Okay, but those benefits will start only after 30 days. So there's a 30-day waiting period. So you will not have the coverage then and there when you pay the premium. You will have such kind of coverage when you're there with your organization, but not under your personal policy. If at all you need to have that under your personal policy, you need to have this coverage started well before. That means today if you start, for 2 years after that, you will have all these 2 years exclusions covered up. 4 years after, you will have your pre-existing disease covered. So you need to have a parallel policy along with your corporate policy such that you will have the coverage in continuity, even in an emergency condition. Even if your 3 lakhs of coverage or 5 lakhs of coverage given by your organization is not enough, then after you do that, then you can also claim it under your personal policy. We have actually dealt with this. Can we actually claim the claim under 2 different insurance policies? That was the question which was there, and we answered this under one of our webinar, that is claims processing, both cashless and reimbursement. Request you to please go through those webinars, and you'll have a very clear-cut detail on that. Okay, but for now, yeah, the better the coverages that we have, yes, we have, but that doesn't mean that you should not carry, but you cannot carry your experience along with you. To carry the experience along with you, you need to have your personal policy in place, not your corporate policy. Corporate policy, you take it as an add-on. Let me just ask you one question, okay? Probably it looks like a foolish question, but still, let me just ask you. How do we create a cake at home, or even in a bakery? We first prepare the cake, right? Okay. So first we prepare the cake, and on the cake, what we do? We put some icing. We just put up that icing. We just smear it up. We put some cherries or things like that. Okay. So there's a cake and there's an icing. Now, to really have a cake, do you really require an icing? Is it really required mandatory? No, right? Okay. But if you have an icing, where will you put it on the cake when the cake is not there? Understood? Understood? Your corporate policy is like icing on the cake, but your base cake is your own personal health insurance policy. So without a cake, you can't put an icing on the cake. You can't put a cherry on that. Cherry is something you are actually having a top up on the entire thing. Top up policy, a super top up policy. I hope this gives you a lot of clarity. Okay, the whole purpose of this webinar series is only to provide you the clarity such that you'll have confidence in whatever the policies which you already have or planning to have. Topic. Okay, so the better the coverage is, good, you have a better coverages in place, but at the same time, you can't carry that coverage along with you even if you are leaving the organization. Okay, right? Okay, so what? So most of the employees, they actually stopped in not taking the policy, which is a blunder. I request, don't do that. Don't do that. Even though you are living in the quarters which is given by the organization, you are supposed to have your own house along with that. Okay, and probably the most the unbearable kind of situation which we recently seen, wherein in the last year, wherein an employee has stopped paying the premium for the parental health insurance policy because she has now joined another organization wherein the company is actually providing the benefit, the coverage for the employees. And that was actually a 5 lakh policy for the parents. For that, she was paying around 35,000 rupees as the premium. And now in this new company, they have actually given the coverage to the parents, but the coverage is only 2 lakh rupees, which she has not looked into. And this is a 4-year policy which she had. It was only a 2 lakh policy, number one. And there is a 20% co-payment for the parents, which who are covered under the policy, right? And she felt like, she got enough of coverage for the parents, and she did not even pay the renewal premium for their individual health insurance policy, which she was continuing for 4 years. That was the 5th year, 5th renewal. Okay, and you know what happened? That company in which she joined last year, that was in 2020, and because of this COVID conditions, there was some problem with the company, and they have actually removed a lot of employees from the organization. There was a huge layoff, and she was also being removed from the organization. And now there is no coverage. She just called up last week asking that, like, can she continue the same old policy which she used to have for the parents? And now the icing on the cake, one of her parents, that his father, has got an heart-related issue, and he has to go for the operation. Now, neither the corporate policy is in place, nor their own existing policy is also not in place. See the irony. Never ever stop paying the renewals for your policies, and especially for the health issues of the parents. Never stop. The more you have, the better you will be feeling if there is any medical emergency which have to come up. I hope you're getting the point. Okay, right? So the past experience is always more valuable than whatever the current coverage that you have that is being provided by your organization. So don't be under the myth that you are actually covering your parents under your corporate policy. Let me just ask you one question. My parents, okay? My parents, whose responsibility? Answer me. Put it in the chat box. My parents, whose responsibility? How can we make our company or the organization be responsible for our parents? How can it be? How can we make our family as our corporate as a responsibility for our family and for our responsibilities? No, right? So why do we have to wait for them? We need to have our own policy in place, wherein our family, our spouse, and then children and the parents are covered enough. And if the company is actually giving it, let it be like an additional coverage. Let it be like an icing on the cake, which gives a better flavor for the taste of the entire cake. but let it not be the cake. If it is the cake, then the moment you are out of the organization, the cake is gone. What will you do with the rest? Got it? Right? Okay. And so coming back to the presentation over here, right? So past experience is always more valuable than the current cover. Now, coming to in health insurance, you can always purchase the policy. In health insurance, you can always purchase the policy, but the thing which you cannot purchase is your past experience. You cannot purchase, even though you want to pay 1 crore as the cost, but still you can't actually get back that experience. I hope you are getting this. Okay, right? And so all the corporates, is it going to be the same policy? No, never. Because it is all tailor-made policies, and in the tailor-made policies, it is every company benefits, the policy benefits are going to be different from the next company. And moreover, in the same company, 1 year policy is going to be different from the next year renewal. It depends on the budgets, it depends on the claims, a lot more factors which are involved in that. Okay, because it is all the tailor-made policies, and it again depends on the budgets which are available with the organization to take care of the renewal. The budgets are bleak, then the benefits are going to be tweaked, and you will be understood. Okay, and you will get to know that only when there is a claim. And it also even depends on the location. An organization in Mumbai will have a higher rating, higher premium when compared to the same organization which is there in, say, Vijayawada. Right? Okay. And it will be lucky if you have the same kind of policy, same kind of benefits, even if you go to the new company, even if you shift to the new company, you'll be lucky enough. But being lucky is always not so much possible for any of us. Right? Okay. Right? Got it? Fine. And then, so somebody has got a career growth. If you have a career growth, will you go or not? Answer my question. If there's a career growth, right, you have one of the best opportunities which has come up, but that is with the next corporate. Will you still stick on to the same company, or will you move? What's your answer? Put it in the chat box. Will you shift or not? Okay, let me just check. Yeah, that's an obvious answer, right? We'll all shift. But if you shift, can you carry the same benefit along with you? Can we? No, right? Okay, if we shift, then there is no coverage. There is no carry of the experience along with you. In such cases, then how are you going to take care of your growth? The employee benefits which are available in the current organizations, do you want it to reduce your growth perspective, your growth prospects? No, right? Okay, so you want your career to be grown for your family, but what about the medical cover? Medical cover for your family. Who is going to take care? And this happens, we have seen enough of cases wherein a person is there working in an organization, in a software company, and this software company sends this person on an overseas assignment. When the person goes for the overseas assignment, right? Okay, in most of the situations what you have seen, his current employment is being terminated in India. There is a new employment code, new rules, new regulations, new signing of the contracts, everything happened. The moment this existing employee, his employment is terminated under the Indian employment, then his complete employee benefits are gone in India. So what happens to the family, the spouse, the children, and then especially the parents? Will they have the coverage in place? No. So how are you going to have the coverage to your parents then? And that too, if say suppose there is some ailing elements or some pre-existing conditions in which they don't know what to do because the coverages are not given right from day one, how are you going to give the best facility for them? So you have to pay it from your pocket. Is that a better option, or having a separate policy with a minimum of 5 lakh rupees kind of coverage for all the people? Will that be a better option? Think about it. Think about it. Okay. And the dependents are removed from the health insurance the moment the employee goes out for an overseas assignment. Okay. We have seen enough of these cases. So your career growth for family, but you're actually taking care of your career growth, but what about the medical growth? And it has been known that most of the wealth is being depleted only because of the emergency medical conditions of the family. I hope you got the essence. So along with your corporate plan, you need to also have your personal health insurance policy also covering your dependents. Okay, so coming to how to take care of your healthy kind of life. Okay, how do you want to protect the happiness of your family? Okay, have a policy wherein you also need to have the claims processing support. Anybody who wants to have a claims processing support, this is a QR code. You can just take a snapshot of this, or you can also even type on that link in your browser, in your phone, or in your Chrome, or anywhere. You will get a form, fill in your details. Me and my team will be always there to help you out. We'll reach you out, we'll help you in any of the claims processing. Okay, this is something as an additional feature which you need to have along with the policy copy, along with the policy of benefits. Okay, and the action points which we have to think about in securing the happiness in the family in any medical emergency condition is: first, own your insurance. You should have your own insurance in place. Own insurance is like owning your own home, your sweet home. Even if you have to stay back, or even if you have to be in a quarter which is given by the employment, due to employment, the moment you are out of the organization, out of the employment, you need to have an own house where you can come back and stay with peace of mind. You can purchase anything. You can purchase anything in your life. Okay, you can purchase anything in your life, but not peace of mind. Peace of mind is only a result of whatever the planned activities which you have done, and because of which now you are reaping the benefits. Have and be at peace of mind. How many of you want to be at peace of mind? Just type in yes in the chat box. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot for all the people who are actually being so active and so participative in this webinar. And we love to have you people on every webinar. And thanks a lot for being so interactive with us. Okay. And so coming back to the action points which need to be taken care. So own your own insurance, your own health insurance, because it is just like your own home. Okay, right? And along with that, like what are the other things which need to be taken care? Once again, so the other things which need to be taken care, the first and foremost thing is have your personal health insurance covering in place, right? That's the first thing. And especially for the parents, it's a must. It's a must. Don't take chances with them. Okay, then of course your dependents like your spouse and your children. Okay, right? And have, if not even the base policy, at least have a top-up plan on your corporate plan. Let's say suppose there is a 3 lakh of coverage which is given by your company, and if say suppose the claim goes beyond 3 lakh rupees, how is that you're going to take it? Have at least a super top-up plan wherein all those additional expenses can be taken care. And you know, super top-up plan comes at a very, very minimal cost. a very, very minimal cost. Okay, have a better, larger coverage in place. But if you ask me whether I should start with a super top up or a normal plan to have is to start, I say first you need to have a normal regular plan, because that becomes your cake. And then on that, if you want, you can also have your top up. That's my suggestion, because in top up there is no bonus which is given, and it doesn't grow further. But in a base plan, there is a no claim bonus which comes up, there is a restoration benefit which comes up, there's a recharge benefit which comes up. Okay, so there are enough of other facilities which actually comes up in the base plan, which normally takes care of your inflation at least for another 3 to 5 years down the line. Okay, so having a base plan and then on that a top-up plan will be a good one. But even if you look at and go through my other webinar wherein I say that was on how much of coverage do somebody has to have for a health insurance plan, or that's a webinar which we have already done. In that we have actually given a little more clarity on based on their current age. A person of 35 years, he should not look at having a medical insurance coverage at this moment, but probably 30 years down the line, 40 years down the line, when he becomes around 65, 70 years, probably we may have to go and get admitted in the hospital. So a 5 lakh rupees now might not be sufficient enough, say 30 years down the line or 40 years down the line. Okay, so according to medical inflation for 7.12, which is available on Google, right? So that says that every 10 years the requirement actually doubles. Okay, so 40 years down the line means 5 lakhs will become 10, 10 will become 20, 20 will become 40, and 40 will become 80. That means almost around 80 lakh rupees is required for the same treatment of 5 lakh rupees at current situation 40 years down the line. Okay, so if you have a coverage of 5 lakhs, that's not enough. You have to look for a larger coverage. And you know something, the premium per lakh actually goes very down. It just steeply goes down when you actually increase your sum assured. We have actually done a webinar, probably I'll not touch upon on this in this webinar. You can actually go through that webinar series and you will have more knowledge on that. Okay, and you can also check, there is a link which has been shared in the chat box. That's a link wherein you can actually go back and check our webinars, right? Okay, and yeah, so this is the support which you have. So you can actually take a snapshot of this. There's a health insurance support, like if you need any support in reviewing your policy or you're planning to take a policy and you need our support, we can be like in a third-party independent advisory services for you. So you can take advice from us, and still decision is always on you. We can only suggest, and after we understand your requirements, then we suggest it back to you. Okay, so this is a QR code. You can just take a snapshot of this, and you can even click on that link. You can paste that link in your browser, and you will get through our website, where you can just give us your details, and me and my team will come back to you. We'll come back to you, and we'll have a specific session only for you. Okay, so coming to the action points again. So it is, check your existing policy. If you already have your corporate policy, what are the benefits? What is the coverage? Are there any limitations? Any disease-based cappings? Any co-payments which are there? So all these things you should actually verify that. Okay, and then review your policy with your advisor if you already have and you have not renewed. So at least now you have a chance. Go ahead and just renew your policy, right? And then discuss all these benefits with your family members. And that is something which is a mandatory thing. Okay, you have to do it. Okay, and especially we request you to discuss on the dining table. So discussing insurance on dining table is a culture which we're actually promoting at Get More from Mallapuram, because it's not just we who have actually purchased the policy should know about the policy, but also the family members. Because in case of emergency, the head of the family is actually got infected or affected. So the rest of the family members, they should know what to do. They should know where to call up, which hospital, what numbers. So they should know everything. And all these details should be, you should make it available and it should be reachable to all your family members. Right, so this is something, the action points, and you need support. We are always there. You can just take a snapshot. So we are always there to help you out. And you also see a number over there. It's our helpline number. You can also give a missed call on that. It's 7569 645 645. That's the number which is actually mentioned over there. Right, you can also even give a missed call on that. We'll be there to support you. Okay, and with that, we come to the conclusion, we come to the end of the session of today's webinar, that is Get More from Mallapuram. My company takes care of my health insurance policy, which is actually a myth. It is good that your company is giving, but that doesn't stop you. That doesn't give you the entire coverage from your side. If you love your family, if you respect your parents and want to provide the best of the best medical facility without even thinking about what is the cost going to be, you need to have your own individual health insurance policies covering your family members. Okay, with that, we come to the end of this session. We thanks a lot for joining us, and keep coming in. We'll come again on every second and fourth Saturday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Thank you.